This is not going to be the average story about reverse culture shock. I really want to address some of the things that I noticed when I returned to the States, but really how they made me feel in the process. It is a strange feeling to come back to your home country and not quite feel at home. So stay tuned. Guess what time it is, everyone? It depends on where you're at. If you're in Italy, you're here. If you're in the United States, you're here. This is my two-faced, not in a bad way, this is my two-faced watch. And in this episode, I am coming to you from, guess where? The United States of America. I have finally returned to my family, my friends, my house, and I am back after 6 months of living in Caccamo, Sicily, a medieval mountain village in the middle of frankly nowhere in Sicily, where I finally got my dual citizenship. If you would like to learn more about my dual citizenship journey, feel free to click the link here to learn more about the top 10 challenges I faced trying to get dual citizenship through residency in Italy. Today, I want to talk about some of the challenges that I faced upon my return back to America. Coming home is weird. It is a very strange sensation to go from what felt normal, a way of doing things, a way of processing information, and then shifting it to a different way of doing things. I went from Europe into John F. Kennedy International Airport, which in my opinion is the armpit of all U.S. airports ever.
JFK is the worst airport in the country when it comes to dealing with luggage.
At JFK Airport, a temporary system outage at customs left travelers waiting for hours in security lines.
A water main break flooded most of Terminal 4 at JFK International Airport yesterday.
It's busy, it's chaotic. There are parts of it that are new, there are parts of it that are super old. It is overpriced. It is not my favorite airport, but that is a very inexpensive airport to go from the United States to Europe mainland. So I came into JFK. I took a 1-hour Uber ride from JFK Airport to Midtown Manhattan and then needed to get a hotel room because the trains in the United States do not run nearly as smoothly as they did in Italy. The last train left Penn Station in New York City at 8 p.m. and I missed the train. So I got a hotel room in Midtown Manhattan. It was really fine. I literally dragged my bags into the hotel room, called my parents, called my husband, talked to my son for 5 minutes, took a shower and went to bed. It was really fine. But the next morning I stumbled down to the restaurant and the hotel provided a buffet complimentary breakfast. The first thing that hit me was how many people were walking around a really nice hotel in their pajamas. Guys, hoodies, baggy pants, flip-flops. This is like the center of the universe, Manhattan, New York City, in a lovely, very, very nice, I think I was on the 30th floor. It was really, really a nice hotel. But people were just wandering around. It looked like the zombie apocalypse and everyone had just come out of a slumber party. You just don't see this in Italy at all. This is not a thing. The second thing that happened on the tail of the first thing was that I noticed all of the coffee cups and the coffee carafes where they store the coffee are like this big. Like this is regular, this is decaf, this is dark roast, this one's light roast. And they're just huge, huge, huge. Guys, this never ever occurred to me that this was so unusual until I came back. I was really, really surprised at the size of the coffee and the condition of the guests in this nice hotel. First things that hit me and made me laugh, made me feel a little lonely in that experience because I realized that if I had stopped to share that little slice of life with anybody in that restaurant, they would look at me like I had 4 heads. I needed to use an Uber driver. The Uber driver happened to speak little to no English. He was a Chinese national. I realized when I got in the Uber, he explained that his English wasn't good. I immediately could use Google Translate very quickly because I have been using Google Translate from Italian to English for 6 months. I know my way around that app now, like I know my way around Amazon. You know, we are talking in English and Chinese, Chinese and English, and you know, we're doing it all through the app. And he was like, wow, you're very fast with your phone. I'm like, yeah, like it's been a method of survival, like for literally 6 months, half a year of using this on an absolute daily basis. That felt really good to be connected to another person who did not speak the native language of the country he is living in. I really could identify with him. It was a really nice feeling and something I had never experienced. And I just felt like a different sense of compassion or symbiosis with this guy. I felt in that moment connected to this Uber driver because of feeling a similar situation. And I tried to explain to him in Google Translate, English and Chinese, that I could identify with his feelings of not always understanding what's going on because I too had just returned from living somewhere else. So let's talk tacos, shall we? My husband and my son love tacos, and I try to make them when I'm home. So of course, tacos on the menu the first week I'm home. My son, who is almost 18, likes something called extra bold and spicy taco shells. I had never seen these before, and I had been living in Italy, never saw this product before. It must be a newer product or something that I just didn't know was out there in an American supermarket. So he says, Ma, we got to get the extra spicy taco. I said, great. I got the taco shell. I bought the plain ones too. I loaded up my taco. I was very excited to try it, and I tasted it, and it was like the preservatives, the additives, like the overpowering spice was like, it was just revolting to me. I couldn't eat the taco. I felt like my taste buds had changed and that this was a product that I would never see in Italy. Something with that much spiciness and you know, powdered spices and stuff. If you're gonna put spice on your food, you're gonna use the real thing. Sorry, don't mean to, offend my son with his super bold and spicy taco. Also found that flavored creamer continues to be disgusting to me. I found myself making the smallest cup of coffee in the Keurig I could, then putting milk in the microwave and warming it up and then dumping cinnamon in it and pouring it all together. That was it. Still don't have my coffee mojo back, but I'm trying. There's nothing like coming home from a long journey and having 3 days of jury duty. Yay! Why is this on my list of things that kind of hit me weird and how I felt about them? I literally got out of my car at the county courthouse. 2 men got out of their cars. We're all holding the jury duty notice thing. Immediately complaining, verbal out loud complaining. This is so stupid. This is so dumb. I have work and I had to come an hour to get here, and just lots and lots of bad energy around doing jury duty. The reason why this hit me is because I have sat in government offices for 6 months getting my dual citizenship, and I never heard a single person complain out loud. They might be complaining inside, but I never sat in the waiting room and ever heard people complaining about any kind of bureaucratic anything. Well, this is like jury duty, and I'm in a pool of potential jurors. There's 200 of us, and all around me are people complaining. Why it's stupid, why it's dumb, why do we have to do this? I have work, I'm supposed to be doing this or that, or I had to cancel this plan. It made me feel uncomfortable, and This felt like really entitled conversation because as Americans, it's our duty to do jury duty. And boring as it may be, we have to make the best of it. I really feel in a different way honored to be serving my jury duty because my country doesn't ask that much of me. I think the thing about how that made me feel, it made me kind of look at my American potential jurors and go, guys, like, it's really not that big a deal. They give you free Wi-Fi, they give you bottled water, they give you an hour for lunch, the chairs are soft. You know, you're basically just sitting around on your phone watching Netflix for most of the day. What is the big deal? Why is everybody complaining out loud? So frustrating. So fun fact, the chances of me serving in a jury pool with someone I know in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, is less than 1%. Well, you'll never guess who's in jury duty with me happens to be the pastor who married my husband and I. I really thought that was hilarious, so I thought I would share that with you. What is it with pastors in my life that keep showing up at weird times in my existence? Like a Mennonite pastor who married me 28 years ago, like jury duty? Weird. The pastor of the English-speaking church 5,000 miles away in Caccamo, Sicily, is from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, 10 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. Weird. Just weird stuff with pastors. What is that? Am I missing some kind of spiritual message here? Just unusual to think about. I went to Sicily with one check-in bag and one carry-on. I left Sicily with one check-in bag and one carry-on. And I was really, really excited to have my closet back. All my clothes, variety, different shoes, different whatever. And I came home, I washed all of my stuff, and then I keep wearing it. Why? I do not know. I keep wearing the same clothes that I bought to Sicily with me. Is that like, that made me feel like there was something wrong with me. Like, why am I doing that? Like, I have all these options now, but then I realized I don't really need more than what I had in that one check-in bag. You know, maybe it would feel different if I was moving permanently somewhere and literally got rid of like everything but one check-in bag of clothes. It was just kind of surprising that I didn't really need all of those clothes in the closet. Let's talk about sticker shock. Living in Caccamo, Sicily, I think I never left the grocery store with a bill of more than 25 euros, which is about $25 right now. I rarely left a restaurant in Sicily spending more than maybe 18 euros, and that would include, you know, your whole meal. Yeah, I'm struggling now with how much everything costs. I went to the grocery store. I got a bag about this big of like different things that I enjoyed in Sicily. So like prosciutto, parmigiano, grana padano. I got salami, an Italian baguette bread. That was it, $65. What? One bag? And like I was getting like tons of bags for 25. Also my nails. I get my nails done. This is like my guilty pleasure. I spend $20 on getting my nails done every 3 weeks. And I went to my lady here and it was $60 for the exact same service. One of the things that I have experienced is the transition back into family life. Living in another place where you're only responsible for yourself, feeding yourself, taking care of yourself, cleaning for yourself, washing clothes for yourself, only managing your own schedule. And then being back into family life with a son who is now in his 4th semester of his senior year of high school, a husband who is a teacher and he's getting ready to wrap up his school year and transition. You know, taking care of the house, doing laundry for everyone, cooking for everyone. it's a challenge, and it's not just a challenge for me. My son reminded me, because I like seltzer water, I leave my seltzer water can all over the kitchen. He goes, Mom, can't you just take it and put it in the recycling bin? And I'm like, yes, I can do that. Even though I'm cleaning up after you so much, I will take my seltzer water can and shove it in the recycling bin. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. Coming back into domestic life with other humans, that has been a challenge. You know, fortunately for me, Scott is my husband, it was not a terribly dramatic transition for me to come home. However, there were little things that we're still kind of getting used to about each other. Like, I'm not used to sleeping in a bed with someone who snores. I'm not used to thinking about other people's dietary preferences. I'm not used to eating so early. I think I'm more of a late eating person, but you know, my family wants to eat at 5:15 every night. I've been going out to eat at 8 p.m. or 8:30. So, you know, it's just kind of like things like that, and like just like meeting each other where we're at as far as a relationship goes. Because even though I feel like communication was great while I was gone, now we're physically in each other's presence. And that's a different thing. It involves more time throughout your evenings, because you're with that person, not just dedicated to a WhatsApp video and then going back to your singular life. We've had a lot of people ask, how did you guys do that? And did it really work for you? I even had somebody so bold as to say, well, you know, how are things with you and Scott? Like, you know, this must have been such a challenge, and how are you really doing? Well, great news for all. We're doing great. Scott does not like being in front of the camera at all. He'd much rather be behind the scenes doing pretty much everything that you don't see. But he is going to go on the next video with me, and we're going to talk about how we made it work. So there you have it, folks. I'm back, but I'm not here for long. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for your comments, your encouragements. Keep them coming. We'll keep answering them. I hope that wherever you are in the world, whatever transitions you are going through in your own life, stay connected to them, recognize how you feel, even if it's uncomfortable, and keep plugging away, because life ain't easy, but God is good. Talk to you soon.